So welcome guys, good morning. Like he said, brilliant to see so many people on a Saturday morning. I don't need a mic, I guess, right? I think it's, yeah, so it's good, right? Well, let's just do it like this. So I'll quickly, tell you the structure that we have in mind. We want to be very interactive because we read the list. You guys all come from good backgrounds. You understand sales and marketing. Some of you are actually quite advanced in the journey. You built your funnels. You've got salespeople. Few of you have also built funnels outside India, like through me. I was just talking to. So, what our goal is going to be, we will talk about funnels, sales, marketing, how AI fits in, from a case study angle of a few companies that we have worked with. Also show you practical examples of how we have inserted the workflows using AI in generation of leads to the entire journey, and I'll kind of touch upon that. Also give you a brief introduction to what we do and how did we learn, or how do we interact with all of this. We have worksheets on your seats. What our idea is that we want to kind of, in the middle of the presentation, we're going to stop and give you a couple of hints to fill in those pieces of information, because we will have a list of prompts. How many do we have? Like in 100, about 100 prompts that you could utilize in your business directly, and I'll talk about the importance of prompts while I'm at it, because it's these are key. These are discovered after a lot of work and experimentation within our company and a lot of other companies that we work with. So ask questions. We will stop in between like 15-minute kind of spurts and let you talk. So I'll start with the background and the overarching theme of marketing and sales and an overview of where AI is being implemented. Anuja will come and talk about how do you expand your top of the funnel, the brilliance of their platform in reaching out anywhere in the world, anywhere in India with a direct connect, and I'll let her talk more about that. Durgesh comes and talks about sales in particular, because he comes with a very wide experience in how do you, towards the end of the funnel, once you have got the lead in, once you understand who's your TG, they have given you consent or they are in there, how do you then use AI at multiple fronts. So let's begin. Let me just get my presentation up. Yes. Okay. So I like to start with this one liner, which I think is it's actually a really powerful statement considering what's happening and the pace of what's happening in AI. I believe it's going to change everything we see around us, and it's much more profound than we believe. Almost everything means the mobile devices will all change, the way speakers are installed here, the way I'm doing this presentation, the way I built this presentation, this mic here, how will it capture my voice, this camera, how will it capture my voice, who prepared the presentation, every single thing. And this is just one room I'm talking about. If you really think about where all the impact is going to be, it's just going to be mind-blowing. It's just going to transform every single piece of our life in some way or the other. Now, to give you an introduction to why I am here today, it's a very heavy slide. I'll try to walk you through it. So my name is Kinar Sachdev. I actually have been an innovator. I had my first patent in electronics when I was in 12th standard. So I was one of the youngest patent holders in India, for a while, and had multiple other patents when I was studying for my industrial and commercial biotechnology masters in the UK. I started my first company from the campus of the university in UK and ran it for about 7 years. We were consulting in 30 plus countries, so I lived in, traveled in. We had a team of 20 plus people. In fact, George had joined us in that company. We changed to this company that I run now, which I talk about. But that's been the journey. So I've been a serial entrepreneur, consulted with the likes of companies like Sikorsky Helicopters, Boeing, Pratt & Whitney, Carrier, companies across Africa, Japan, US, multiple places. And this wasn't in AI. AI wasn't a piece at that point. This was actually go-to-market for technology brands, where Ogilvy's of the world and Leo Burnett's will say, we don't know how to sell this product, it's too complicated in tech. We would come into picture and tell them, how do you launch or relaunch a product across any geography? So that's what we basically did. So that was called Scientity. We then started building a product, and the product actually actually was the idea where we thought that, okay, people should be able to use our services or technology by themselves, and Nourish kind of came into picture, which I'll give you an intro to. But just to highlight, Nourish is a proper AI company. We let people monetize their content, build funnels, generate leads, or establish thought leadership in any domain through our technology. And we've been recognized for AI at multiple places. Just to kind of set the context, I mean, we are the first Indian company ever to win at GITEX Dubai, this last GITEX. Inc. 42 last month, we were part of the top AI company list, and Google for Startups, the AI batch, the first one, we were also there. So just to set the context that, why we are talking about AI, right? It's very important. Now, from a Nourish standpoint, the kind of businesses that we power, it's Bombay Stock Exchange, People Strong, Grohe, GeoGenX, Symbiosis. There are tons of organizations across 19 plus countries. Also celebrities like Sanjeev Kapoor, Rajat Kapoor, Corinne Gibbons in Australia, across the world. So we have clients from around like 50 plus countries, 1 million plus users. We've raised some funds, about 19,000 clients in total. So that's about us. I don't want to kind of talk more about us, but this is who we are. What do we do will probably become a bit more clearer at the end, but that's not important. We want you to be able to use the power of AI in your life is what the goal is. Why AI with us is why I showed you these two slides. Now, I'll tell you, we were a company that wasn't using AI. And a couple of years ago, I had an investor who actually was the head of innovation at GMR. GMR are the guys who build the airports, so they are one of the largest organizations. So I was meeting him, and he told me that I'm here, can you come in the afternoon and talk to me? And he said, if you have a product that GMR could use, I'll have the marketing guy and a couple of other guys with me, why don't you pitch to them? So I didn't know what to do. And ChatGPT last year was just out. I was using some beta versions of GPTs. There were other companies also that were working on them. So we asked this question, and the prompt was, I want to look at this because this is super powerful. So I said, we are a platform that lets anyone build their entire website, funnels, learning courses, ebooks, anything in content particularly. And there are three use cases of this that people use the platform for. One is that they use these courses to train their internal teams. Second, they can establish thought leadership with these courses. Like you give courses or ebooks free and people think you're a thought leader in the space. And the third is that they can generate leads with these courses or ebooks, just like Salesforce and other such platforms do. So Salesforce would, give these ebooks or reports for free, and you download them, and you basically are a lead for Salesforce. Our platform can let anyone do that. So I asked towards the end, now I'm pitching my platform services to a company called GMR, which was the builder of the airport in Delhi. Help me ideate how they can use the platform with such content. So you'll think that, okay, this is weird because you have three use cases, just go and pitch these three use cases, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. But you'll realize that what AI gave to me is just mind-blowing. It did a research on GMR in like a few seconds. It looked at their websites, and it told me they're building a new airport in Bhagalpur. They have a problem, it's been reported in the news that they're not able to get people to stick there, and there are implementation issues which can be solved by good training. So it told me 7 places where I could apply within their company based on the exact lead generation, thought leadership or internal training use cases. And this all in less than 35 or 40 seconds. I use Perplexity for this demo. I'm not sure if you've tried Perplexity. This is the paid version of Perplexity, and the Anthropic model, the Claude model 3.0 is the LLM here. It matters which LLM you use, and I know that almost everybody here knows about LLMs, so I don't need to kind of go into a description of LLMs. But Claude model gave me this entire pitch, and we did crack one piece here with this pitch because it's so pointed. It fits into the best sales-based scenarios and use cases that solve a problem that your end user or client is facing exactly. With research, with references. So this kind of opened and blew our minds that if not Perplexity, I'll have to probably use maybe a really good consultant, or with my experience of all those 8-10 years with all these companies, I'll have to spend maybe a day or two to do all this research. What would GMR love? I'll have to look at every single point and then come up with all of that. The research would go really deep, and that's what used to happen. In my last company, when I would pitch to let's say a Pratt & Whitney or a United Technologies, it would sometimes take me a couple of days to finish the proposal. Let me tell you that with this prompt, if I extend this further, and if I give it the content that I have for my proposal, I'm able to build proposals in less than 40 minutes. And in fact, our enterprise proposal right now is built entirely with AI. So how does this happen? Is because AI is able to read the idea for AI, the LLMs, is that it reads patterns. I don't know if you know where it says it has 1 trillion data points that it's been trained on. The biggest capability is to read patterns. I don't need people to be doing all this. The operational insights are not needed. The data gathering by socializing and calls is not needed. Though that could add value, I would say, for the next few months. Let me tell you, 6 months later, probably this would even get much better. There will be use cases where it keeps stacking it up, right? So the power of this is superb in terms of using it as a very high level consultant, somebody who comes from a Goldman Sachs, E&Y, that kind of a brain power, that's what you're looking at. But if you look at the kind of use cases that AI has been used for, or people have been kind of implementing it around the world, these are the data points. Let's just run them through, because this tells you where all are we going to see the impact of AI in the world, right? So the top points are the ones that I will touch upon in today's session, or some of us, like either Durgesh or Anuja or me, will touch upon. But overall, let me just highlight, communicating with clients and customers is one of the largest use cases with 26%. AI is going to just transform it, and it's my prediction the first jobs that are going to be in the line of fire are going to be the customer service personnel. Believe me, it's getting so good with right objective points and data sets. Entire processes built with ironclad kind of walls around your whatever documents or whatever processes you have in your company. It's probably just a couple of months away that you will be so tempted to shift your customer support function with AI bots, and not text-based bots. People like bots will talk. I hope all of you have seen the 13th May Omni release, right? So for those of you who haven't, you should go back and check it out. 13th May, ChatGPT launched a new release. It's called Omni, and the voice capability with emotions, with the proper intonations and the sound variations have come in. So the first ones are going to be the customer support people, which is real, right? Second, improving website experience, tremendous kind of improvements happening there. Posting on social media. You can do automations, you can do so much with a couple of points we're going to talk about. Improving conversion rate optimization. So CRO, where how do you last point of conversion, you've done SEO, or maybe you have a sales process, your conversions can get much better if you use AI in a good way. To a certain extent, what GMR example was could be also called a CRO, right? It's a CRO exercise in a certain way. Training, onboarding, offboarding, we've already implemented it. In fact, a lot of our clients have started implementing these use cases, and very traditional businesses to, people like food companies. We've seen food companies to people in automobile sector to our own company. We have trainings.knowledge.com where every new joinee has to talk to AI, understand every question about knowledge, what does it do, why is it better than X player. So we have a full-blown website which is called trainings.knowledge.com, and every employee that joins is now first talking to that bot or that platform before they join us. Practical use cases, these are live right now, and I can easily see that just in a couple of months they'll be able to talk to the entire platform as well, right? They'll just not have to type in text, but they'll be able to talk in text. 21% improving IT processes. Similar numbers, recognizing most urgent customer queries, semi-automating complex processes like payroll, predicting customer behaviors, and analyzing organization network. All of this. Another tool that I would recommend to you guys that you should go and check out is mem.ai. The promise for a platform like Mem, which is in the last 2-3 buckets, which I will not talk about, but you'll be able to see how this works. The promise for Mem is something like a Jasper. what's the Jarvis, the Iron Man's assistant in the suit. So he says, Jarvis, can you send this message to someone? Jarvis, I need someone to solve this problem for me. Who can do it, right? So if in MEM you have connected all the pieces of information that you have within your life, like Notion, OneNote, Evernote were the tools where you used to put in all your information in life. I mean, Notion is brilliant, but I think MEM did a fantastic job with AI brain capability. So let's just say I meet someone here who's a digital marketing expert, and I just put the business card and put it in my MEM. Now let's say 3 months later or 3 years later, I'm just stuck. And I'm like, I have this project that I want to do with maybe in politics, and I met someone here who did a, kind of a campaign in politics. So MEM tells me that, you met someone there and he does this in politics, so why don't you reach out to him? Here is the email that you could send out to him. Do you want me to send it? This is real. It's not the future, it's already usable within MEM. So we've been kind of using this within our platform. I'll show you a demo of how something like this is being used in our company as well. So these are the use cases, and like I said, the top ones is what I will quickly run through for you guys. Now, like I said, AI recognizes patterns. And AI basically looks at how things connect with each other in a much better way, in an objective way, without any emotional filters or preconceived notions about smaller data sets. What I'm trying to talk about, and here is an example. You guys all must have heard of this statement if you're dealing with some client outside Delhi. Delhi ke log chor hote hain. Have you heard of this? Right? This is not a joke, right? I mean, I have actually lost a client. How do you fight with something like that? I don't know who said it, right? I don't know the guy. There is no way I can prove him right or wrong. What do I tell him, right? I mean, this is just absurd. But when we gave a proposal to a company, the only response they said, people said Delhi ke log chor hote hain, this is so expensive. Like, just crazy. Humans, you will be surprised. So well-read, IIT educated or IIMs educated people have these kind of preconceived notions, core beliefs that just run their lives. I'm telling you honestly that I've had the pleasure of working with some Fortune 500 CEOs around the world, not just Indians from around the globe. And this is not just us in India. There are, beliefs like that everywhere. Did you know that Watson and Crick discovered the structure of DNA, the guys who got the Nobel Prize for it? Watson, at the age of 80 plus, was fired from the university because he said black people are genetically inferior to white people. This is Watson, the guy who discovered DNA, him saying there's no empirical data to back it up. But we all run with these kind of beliefs. Scientists at that level, he's won the Nobel Prize, and he's at UPenn, right? And Princeton, UPenn, some of these universities, and this happens. So what I'm trying to say, AI does not make mistakes like those because it is taught to learn from patterns and data, which is a huge capability. It's also flip side because in a lot of interactions, you need your human, empathy, your human element to connect with people beyond data, right? The data might be saying that this guy can't do it. Let's say Wright brothers. If I was AI and I went to AI and said, I want to build a flight that will fly, only birds fly so far. It can theoretically fly because birds fly. Will I be able to build it? Now AI can't have faith, because I need an element of faith here and say, yeah, the flights, if you believe in it, I think eventually you'll do it. Or Edison, 10,000 times failed. There's an element of going beyond the data predictability. So I think there are flip sides of both of it. But what we want to learn from AI and utilize it to see objectively in a data-driven fashion and understand where we need to override it with a human element. So what I want to kind of talk about today is that marketing journeys and use cases where we use both kinds of mechanisms of how AI and how human interface or emotions kind of come into play. Did we have the exercise here or maybe just a couple of slides? Yeah. Okay, so this is a beautiful example that's kind of inspired us and it taught us a lot a couple of years ago. 1948, AI or no technology was popular at that point. Louis Engel generated 3 million leads with this chance marketing hack. Now, 3 million leads is quite a lot. This guy used to work for Merrill Lynch. He was just a copywriter. He was given this exercise by the team that could you come up with a good advertisement for the newspaper? We have this extra budget with the newspaper. Let's try and get some leads in. We want people to invest with the bank Merrill Lynch. So think of them like the Zerodha of 1948, right? I mean, you'll invest with Merrill Lynch, they'll make money for your money. You'll get an IRR which is better than what you'll make. This guy did something completely out of the box. So he did not write an advertisement. You can't read the newspaper, but let me tell you what it is. He said, what is a stock market? What are bear runs? What are bull runs? Why people make money in stock markets? What kind of stocks have made money for people? He educated in that newspaper. So he just wrote everything about that, what's this, what that. There is no single place where he said, come and invest with Merrill Lynch. At the end, he just wrote Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Feller and Bean, that's what it was called at that point, that this is the company that's kind of written this. He got a lot of flack from his manager saying, bullshit, why have you done this? We were not there to teach, we're not teachers. But this guy did something that Merrill Lynch never thought would be possible. They generated crazy amounts of lead. People from all around the country started sending them mails. Tell us more. We want to learn more. Not like we want to invest with you. And Merrill Lynch got the largest amount of their business from any campaign ever till then from this campaign. Now, what was it that actually made it so popular? So you have to understand the fundamental block behind it, or the reason behind it is it's actually education marketing. As humans, we get our attentions interrupted or attracted based on, is there something valuable for me in this piece? When you see on LinkedIn, there are a lot of people, and LinkedIn is full with such kind of articles, pieces where people are saying, how is it done? Right? There is no call to action, nothing, they just want to teach you something. So education marketing gives you a piece of information around the problem that you guys face, and then goes on to tell you how do you solve it and how do I fit into that solution. So this was actually an accidental discovery around education marketing, where people realized that this could be a way where you don't sell, because everybody was just selling. Invest with Merrill Lynch, invest with me, invest with that company. And this didn't stop at that point. Now I'm bringing you, like almost 60 years later now, 70 years later. Blue Bottle Coffee is now a $750 million company in Silicon Valley. If you guys have been to the US recently, I don't know if you've tried their coffee, but they have a brilliant strategy. They cracked the markets of Starbucks and some of the larger Costas and other brands in the US purely with education marketing. There are courses on their website which is like the art of pour over, the art of cold brew. Their mission is, we will teach you how to make the best coffee at home, period. They are not saying, come sit in my coffee shop, buy the beans, buy the machines, none of that. They're just teaching you how to be an excellent coffee maker at home, at a shop, wherever you want to be. Now, this is quite odd, but I will show you some marketing numbers and data around this, how this becomes like really, really great. I'm sure you people have been seen or targeted by LinkedIn for one of their webinars where they invite people to say, how do you transform recruitments in your organization? Come to this 30-minute long webinar. Or they have called you for some ebook session or a dissemination of a report that they have released, right? This is again education marketing. They're calling you to teach you, and why are you going there? Because you'll get to learn. You go there to learn that how do you actually improve recruitment using the LinkedIn products, right? Again, education marketing, everything is set beside, behind that webinar or that ebook that they're actually giving to you. This is Salesforce. I don't think I've ever seen a Salesforce advertisement saying buy Salesforce CRM. They never do that. It's always discover how to quickly deliver unified shopping experiences across all channels on all devices. Right? It's education. There is not going to be a piece where they're saying, come and book a demo with me. It's going to be either an ebook, it's either going to be a report, it's going to be some kind of a document, doing exactly what Louis Engel did in 1948. Right? So you cannot actually look at Salesforce in a light where they directly come and send to you. And other companies like HubSpot, some of the CRMs that did this, HubSpot did this well, $24 billion company. Purely built on education marketing. Now, this is an example coming back to what Knowledge does. PeopleStrong is a very large HR tech company. It's almost a $500 million size, and this is peoplestrongacademy.com, this screenshot, right, which is built using our tech. So they've utilized our tech and built something similar, but they did something incredible in Dubai, Qatar and Saudi Arabia just a couple of months ago. They went to this country and in Dubai GITEX, they go and at a seminar, they tell these guys, why don't you do these certifications in HR evangelism, HR expertise, 58,000 or about in there, about 1,000 dirham or maybe more, $1,000 kind of a range. These guys made about 1.2 crore rupees in just last 3 months selling these online courses. And they converted 16 clients without spending a penny. In fact, making money from that campaign in Dubai. How? Because they were not there to sell, they were there to teach. And that kind of converted people into that funnel where people were able to softly attend the course and also become an evangelist within their company for a people strong product, right? Now, this is the example of how they did it: online course sales, customer training, thought leadership, all done there. Now, why is this powerful? Because you reach a massive global audience with content which you cannot if you were just selling ads. If you do this, you're building relationships and trust with your followers or people who will listen to you for your companies. Because at the core of it, you need to know what to do before AI gets to do it for you. Now, I picked up the journey of an education marketing customer, but let me tell you that it could be applied into an outbound, inbound campaign, whatever, right? The idea here is with content, your relationships, your trust is very deep. When you've taught someone, when you've given somebody an idea that you could solve this problem in your company this way, they are there to learn from you, to buy from you for sure. There are so many marketing studies. I mean, if you went and looked at Ogilvy's, there's a great book by Ogilvy called Ogilvy on advertising, and it's like this thick. But the central concept is how do you build a relationship with your prospective customers in a way where they will trust you. And you do that with content. You can market your business cost effectively. You will be surprised that we have tried running campaigns not just for our company, we've looked everywhere. If Salesforce was running ads behind their campaigns and saying buy Salesforce software, here is the demo booking page. You know what that lead cost would be for that typical acquisition or a click through? It's going to be, let's say, about a 1500 rupee range, right? Because you're saying book a demo and you're looking at only people who are in your bottom funnel. You know what is the top, middle and bottom funnel? So top funnel where people are just exploring right now. Middle, they have made up their mind that I want a CRM. Bottom, they're looking for it right now. I want to implement a CRM in the next 30 days. If I ran a campaign like book a demo right now, I'll possibly touch the bottom funnel and it's super expensive. Why? Because every other company's marketing dollars are being spent there. So I'm competing on eyeballs, I'm competing on wins. When I go with an educational concept, when I teach people or give them a report, when Salesforce does that, you know how the cost of leads changes? It basically from a 1500 rupee can come down to less than 100. I am not joking. I mean, anyone here who's run ads, try and do this with your content, educate. Give a piece that people actually want to consume. Your lead cost will completely transform. And I tell you what, some people will say that, okay, the lead cost will transform, I've taught them, but they will not convert immediately because they're top of the funnel. You can create lead magnets, content for bottom funnel as well. But let's just say, even if you started at the top of the funnel, your chances of overall conversion will become skyrocketingly high because these guys have learned from you. These guys have understood the game from you of how you actually utilize a CRM in your company for better conversions or optimizations. So your cost comes down, you differentiate yourself from the competitors because at this stage when you educate, nobody else is trying to educate. It's just like a gym chain doing a free Zumba class or a couple of Zumba classes saying, well, no fret, don't pay, I want you to lose weight. I will teach you 5 steps or 5 yoga techniques that you can go back and do at home. Exactly what Blue Bottle did, right? Blue Bottle Coffee, teaching you how to make good coffee. They're not saying come and buy beans from me or come and do something with me, right? So that makes it super powerful. Showcase your product or services in action because now you're teaching. It's a win-win. You are helping people and they are looking at your brand, which won't be fair if you were just calling and telling them, well, look at CRM, look at Salesforce, how does this work, right? But now you're teaching them. Attract new business opportunities and gather valuable feedback. If you're constantly doing this, your entire funnel will transform. You know, you will basically be able to build a funnel that's robust. And don't listen to me, look at the brands that you love, and you will see that they are trying to be the entertainment themselves and not disrupt your entertainment on platforms. If you're running an ad on Instagram, on Facebook, it can't be, or even on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, people are all learning, right? These days, if you look at LinkedIn, you don't see jokes, you don't see people dancing, that's TikTok, right? Or that's Insta. You don't see people flaunting their fashion or their holiday. What do people do on LinkedIn? They tell you, this is how you progress in your career. This is what you do to get better in your life. This is what you do to get better in your business. So don't interrupt the flow. Go and teach them something, and that's your ad. And that's what you do on Insta if your product is a B2C, but obviously this audience doesn't kind of fit in there, so I'll not go there. But B2B, LinkedIn is the killing ground. I mean, if we can merge it like that, there cannot be anything better. Now, I think at this point, we'll just take a 5-minute break. We have the sheets in front of you, and the first question that we have where, all we have done is we have asked you to fill in information about how do you want to, I'll show you the sheet. So this one. The first one, list down the 5 things you need to do for increasing your customer base or impact. Now, by this I mean that you just list down things like, I'm just talking to Sumit, and she said, the brand kind of is after school courses, what you guys run. So, what are the 5 things that you would want your ideal customer to feel about you, to know about you, nothing else? Or maybe, even goals. Like if you say that, we want to get 20,000 parents to know about how after school activities can change your life. It could be like TrueMe has a product for, let's say attendance management, or in the office, like entry management. So what are the 5 things that you would want your customer to know? And it's not, I'll tell you why this is important, because when you start with a goal, when you start with an objective parameter of achievement that you want AI to work on, the prompts that we have after this, they become like super useful. Because we can't start blank, right? I mean, if we have that starting point, and I believe all of you are, because we read that sheet, shared by Nitin, almost everybody is already running a business or is part of an organization. So let's begin now. We just take 5 minutes for it, right? And any questions, please feel free to ask. 5 things that hypothetically my brain kind of thinks about. And you will see that to think like this and to have these pieces right in there is what we've all done so far. But with AI, we can take the journey much faster and get super clear on the kind of things we really need to do to get to these points. There is a step that comes before this, which we have intentionally put after this. I'll explain to you why, and that's the key. The reason for that step to be completed before you start executing on things that we've written here or to run them here in the prompts becomes super important, which is now what I'll show to you. If you look at the screen, we all know what it means, and let me tell you, the data is out that parents, the biggest worry, more than the drug addiction that they get worried for their kids, there are many surveys done in the US where people are saying that the mobile or the data or the content addiction is hampering my child's focus. It's not just children, organizations lose a substantial amount of their productivity to mobile devices, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, even LinkedIn, right? Because that is random information that might not lead to your business goals if your employees are spending a lot of time. They are addicted. We all to a certain level are addicted, and you will hear this from a lot of people at like really high positions also. But you know what? This addiction is what platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and a lot of other companies make a lot of money from. Sadly, this is what is the dream of every marketer. Can I have people looking at the screen where I can insert my ad and they will not be distracted? I will just give them my ad, they'll look at it. In the old times, you had hoardings, but nobody was looking like this. They're talking to their spouse, they're in the car. Only a fraction. The funnel was much smaller. You will have like 5 lakh people crossing through the road right here in front of IIT, but only about 5,000 people looking at the hoarding. But now, you have multi-million eyeballs, just looking at your content because they are all addicted to that. Now, How do you make sure that you are a part of that addiction? How do you make sure that you can insert your message, your goal inside it? AI can do wonders to find out what is it that these guys look at and how do you insert yourself into that piece. And that's where customer insights are extremely important. So what I want to kind of show you here an example of is this is called a hydraulic press channel. I don't know if somebody has seen this. Anyone here who has seen this hydraulic press channel? Yeah. So hydraulic press channel, German guy, he just crushes different things under a hydraulic press. 9.5 million subscribers, almost 1 crore people, right? Unbelievable, 9.5 million. And these guys became one of the top hydraulic presses. This guy is a semi-celebrity who actually started doing this, and it's called ASMR. I forget what's the full form of this content. It's like, you know, they are satisfying reels or videos. There's a full form for that. I mean, the newer generation kind of, there's a lot of content around the satisfying bit.
So something AGM or something like that.
Yeah, there's a word around that, you know, ASMR, I believe. It's probably ASMR. Maybe George will look up at it. But the guy's intention was to get a hydraulic press into your daily life, and he was just trying to connect the dot of what will actually be it for a common person or for everyone, for the larger audience to look at a hydraulic press. It's a brilliant idea, and this is such a great example of how such a boring thing, you know, something that you never expect will actually have a channel, you know, becoming a mainstream 10 million follower kind of a brand, right? In global, not just you know, in Germany, but global. Here is another example, Vera Tools. Vera Tools, European company, you know, they make these screwdrivers, and so I'm showing you these boring examples because the interesting ones we see almost every single day on LinkedIn, right? These are the ones you never imagined could be able to insert themselves into your daily life. And we have business owners here with different products. It gets sometimes very tough for people to think, you know, I do this, मैं तो बहुत boring सी line में हूँ, मैं क्या, मतलब what do I tell people? What do I actually give content around? Because I mean, it's just so boring. So I don't think you can be more boring than a hydraulic press, and that's why I showed you the worst one that could come to my mind, right? I mean, a hydraulic press can never be a part of it, but they have made this. Now, what is it that these guys actually are able to achieve with this? And I just spent 2 seconds on this. They get 10x the cost of sign up if they ran ads. You know, if the guy, and I asked this to a business owner, this business owner does bottles, Ajanta bottles, right? I mean, Dipankar is looking at building a content pipeline. Ajanta bottles makes glass bottles. Again, pretty much like hydraulic press, super tough. Now, this guy looked at, you know, what we were talking about, we discussed about content, and he said that, you know, if I get one person to give me a new order, that could be a few crores in order. So if I had 30,000 people, 29,999 not interested in my business, and that one person getting into the funnel is a game changer for me. It makes the entire effort worth, and he did some back of the envelope, you know, calculations to see how effective that effort could be. So if you ran ads, it's going to be super waste. And let me tell you another example of what Ajanta Bottles is looking at doing. They have 2 lakh people in their database, leads that never bought from them. How did they generate these leads? You know, Moglix, then you have that Just Dial, you know, India Mart, all of those places, they ran ads, they gathered leads. 2 lakh people didn't buy bottles, didn't order. Now, with content, he's got a reason to go back to all 2 lakh and say, guys, I'm here to just give you this valuable content around why marketing, packaging of bottles can be a game changer for your new business. They want to listen to it now. There is no other way to retarget dead leads. But how do you connect that? Like, how do you, now you have a goal like Ajanta Bottle, I want to bring these leads back to my funnel, which you might have written in your, you know, this exercise that we just gave to you. How do you connect it is what I'll just talk about. But before that, your cost goes down, you're not selling, you don't need time to convince them. You are going back to them because you either want to entertain them, you want to educate them, or you want to inform them, right? Those 3 things. And that's the goal of what we want AI to kind of be able to do for us, right? I mean, there are many applications like a lead gen, customer segmentation, retargeting, the example that I gave. And for this to be understandable to you, I want you to bring to a concept called customer persona. Everybody understand what a persona is? So ICP, the ideal customer persona, is the word we talk about in the world of marketing, and we say, you know, our ICP, if it is well defined, we'll be able to crack the market in a much better way. Because if we know what is it that they are watching, you know, those addicted people we showed in that slide, if we know what is it that they are watching, how can I be a part of that content? I can reach out to my audience. So the first step you do is basically write your target persona, which I don't want you to do now. Maybe, you know, we will stop at 11:15. After the break, we come back and do this. You write down your customer persona in detail. Because if you do that, all your ads, all your messages, if you're just preparing educational content, will fall in the right place. So customer persona is more important than I think anything else that I could talk about in this session. And let me tell you, AI is magical in finding out your customer persona. George has put down some prompts that we use with a lot of different people, you know, which is kind of trying to find out the customer persona. If you go to the last sheet, this talks about some of the prompts where you first tell AI, you know, I am the founder, owner of this company. I do this, you know, this is the product. My ideal persona, customer, including age, occupation, interest and purchasing behavior, what do you think it could be? So you start from that point. You'll be like, why would AI know that? There's no way for AI to know that. Has anyone got that question, or you all understand why would AI know that? Are you all convinced that AI would know that? I mean, it's eaten trillions of data points, it's looked at everything that's happened on the internet, it's watched the entire YouTube library till probably the last year. It understands very well for a particular product to be sold, who's the customer who's looking at it. So it's almost magic. When you do that, you are able to drill down onto the exact pain problems, and when you talk about in the next one, what are the top pain points or challenges faced by these customers. So let's just take an example. You know, because we spoke to them after school activities, right? If I knew that the parents that I want to sell my after school curriculum to, what are the biggest pain problems of those parents? What are the questions running in their head? You know, how do they decide that now their child should be enrolled into a swimming program, a dance program, chess, whatever? Either it's interest identification or whatever it is, but if I knew that, now my content piece that I will write will be perfectly aligned. Because let's just say if I am in the business of offering after school services and I'm saying just something like your child will be more successful, you know, enroll into these programs. It's too far of a promise. So people go in with things like, is he too distracted? Do you think the potential is being wasted? AI will get you these statements in a brilliant way. Exactly the points that you could hit the nail on the, you know, directly the point where it's going to be the softest in the wall. Like that's the place you want to target. I'll give you an example here of an ad that I saw and I was like blown away. For people who wear half shoes, like, you know, loafers, you know, men and women, if you know, there are these no-show socks that are very popular these days, right? So once I saw an advertisement on Instagram and the title was socks that don't slip. I mean, it's just a big problem that people, you know, who use no-show socks would know that most of the socks do slip. That's called an insight. And that's a pain problem that I wanted to click on the ad for. It's called the Sock Company, but it's my favorite example because, you know, it's such a key insight in such a crowded market that you don't see Jockey or any other brand targeting. How did they find a wedge? You know, a wedge is like, I mean, that particular point where you can enter into the mind of your customer, even if it's education, even if it's inbound, even if it's outbound, you need the wedge. You need an entry into their brain because they're addicted, right? I mean, they're looking at those scrolls. Got to stop them. Got to stop them from scrolling and ask them, you know, listen to this. This will help you. This will solve a problem that you guys have. So that's what this exercise will help you do. The persona is going to be the key from where your AI journey of building your first marketing collateral will start. Because unless you know why are you building some piece, who are you building it for, and then your goals will be met, right? I mean, you got to nail down the persona, and this sheet, if we can even do that much right, I think is going to be of an immense help. Or I think in next 10 minutes, we'll just kind of finish this piece, and maybe after coming back, you can spend a few minutes with a computer in your hand. I mean, you'll see how magical this gets, you know. And let me tell you, you could use, you'll ask what LLM to use. You know, use the Perplexity free Claude model. You can use GPT free as well. 3.5 will also be really good. 4O will get really, really good, and 4, will get really smart if you want to spend a $20 investment for a month.
It's free also right now.
The 4O is not released right now, and it's very limited. So after 2 questions, it's going to tell you that your tokens are finished unless you pay. Perplexity would be a bit better. Bing also has access to 4, so you could play with a couple of free solutions. Ask the first one, but you want to use the memory of the LLM, then better go with a larger one, because ideally you want to do a lot of follow-on questions. You want to drill down into the exact question that you could read with an insight. So that's the goal, right? So what all do we do in this entire journey? Our entire content strategy, automated copywriting, what do we write? Like once I have figured the persona and we know the persona, we use entire content strategy planning with AI. We do automated copywriting, content recommendations, even our visual content, email marketing and language translation, which Anuja is going to be talking about. This kind of is the entire stack of how we cover a journey of, let's say, somebody like a Salesforce or a LinkedIn. Every step of this done with AI. And like I said, persona is going to be the key to you building the right funnel. Now here is the example of what we have done. Like let me read the statement here. So we go with the first step. Once the persona is clear, you need the persona clear. We go with a question. I need to create a social media content calendar for the next 10 days. I post on Instagram and Twitter. So, and you can change these prompts. Right? We'll give you a copy of the presentation as well. We'll load it on a platform. My business sells whatever it is. I will post 5 times a week. And then I want us to strike a balance of posts where some are engaging and funny and others help sell my products. So you can change this tone to, let's say you want to be a serious brand, and that's where the branding aspect comes. You could change it to serious. You will need to help me with this as well as providing the full content calendar for both platforms. First you will ask me questions about my business and audience until you think you have enough information. Then you will provide me with the calendar for it, one for Instagram, one for Twitter. You will provide me with the text captions. Let's begin. So with this prompt, and here on the left we are showing how exactly it builds the entire calendar. If you got the 2 exercises that will be shown to you right, you will have your entire calendar for the next 30 days and you can follow. Now here if you see, it's giving me the tweets, the posts, everything lined up in a sequence. And this example is for the GPT that we use, that we have an inbuilt version of this entire funnels GPT within our platform. But like I said, you could be using anything. And this prompt will work because let me tell you that even in our architecture, we use 2 LLMs. So we access Azure, OpenAI and Llama 2. So it will work on pretty much anything. All of them are kind of similar contextually engineered. Now the next example I want to give you is every organization here will eventually have their AI consultant clone within their organizational knowledge, right? And what we have done, we have also built one. We have built a technology which the Giant Award we won was for that. MEM does that for you, but what we do is from a training context, we upload all training onto our platform. Every piece that we have used to train our sales team, every piece we have used to train our support team is ingested by AI. So when I ask that AI, how do I sell Nourish to GMR now, I don't have to give the entire context. I don't have to tell it what Nourish does. It already knows everything. It also knows the other customers that I have signed up. It also has access to the other case studies that I have uploaded there. It knows how PeopleStrong used it. So it becomes like a very, very powerful brain of a consultant within the company that can answer that question. And I call it an AI clone. This is super powerful. This is an example of how we run it. This use case is for a telephone manufacturer where we have uploaded the entire launch brochures of the company into the brain. And now a sales guy asks, how can I sell Superphone to a female buyer? Because it has all the training deployed to the sales team, in the brain, it answers this is what you do when you're selling it to a female. And the power of AI, I could ask this thing, can you tell this to me in Gujarati, can you tell this to me in Japanese, Korean, and I can ask it in English. I can say, medical student ko kaise bechu? And it still answers in an equally powerful fashion. Brilliant capabilities. You will be surprised. When we asked this question, we did not upload information into the brain about a female's use case. Now AI knows how that works, right? So it only knows what are the features of the Superphone. But it matches them up and says, talk about the design first. Focus on camera capabilities, focus on user-friendly features, and it highlights this, that it has a simple interface. Because it knows, this is customer insight. It knows that a customer, who's a female would prefer to have simpler UI, they don't want frames, they like a good camera. I mean, whatever you say, this is objective matching with the AI's brain. It talks about discuss the battery life, offer a personalized touch, ask her about her specific needs and preferences such as her favorite apps, hobbies or interests, tailor your recommendations based on her answers to make her feel understood and valued. You know how this is answering this question for this particular use case? Some of the best sales guys in the company, the top trainer will not be able to tailor make it like that for a particular use case. And you now have this capability of this brilliant consultant in every team member's hand. So what we have done in the product is we just upload all the training, we just have access of all of that for our AI, and now it's able to answer all the organizational knowledge. Here is another example where we just asked the sales guy, said what are the top 3 features of Superphone, and it doesn't kind of go through millions and millions of documents and says, go here, read that, like in the old times it would happen. It just tells you the top 3 features. Sound quality, photo camera, large interior display. Whatever has been focused on, it just brings it out there. Imagine for scenarios within your companies, like I know you have 2 or 3 products, get super complicated for new guys to understand. It just gives them the right perspective then and there. And I think every company, everyone here should be looking at building a customized brain for their organization like that, and it's all within reach now. You can even do this in paid versions of GPT. The limitation there obviously is that you won't be able to give access to every team member, because then it gets $20, right? I mean, per team member. And obviously, you can't do videos, you can't do training, you just can upload PDFs and all. So what we did was, we just tried that, okay, how do we make it more interesting? And this is a brilliant use case that I believe everybody should be thinking about implementing at some point. This is another example of how we use AI. So this is a template of a website. This is a demo, example from our website only, from our platform. So we just said, I don't like the boxer image, create an image of a small boxer dog sitting in a dark room. I don't have to go to Shutterstock. I don't have to go and look at any other parameter. I just typed it in this AI box. And I can even tell the platform that, create a landing page design or arrangement where I'm trying to say this, write this also, design this also. And it kind of lays down the entire blocks in front of you. I think that's kind of pretty much from my side. I think it's like right on time, right at 11:15. So I wanted to show you the entire journey. Just to summarize, my take would be that there are capabilities for AI to help you in every single step. You have to start with a persona for your business. You have to drill it down. The prompts in the sheet will help you. Second step, look at the goals back. Try and use those prompts after you have worked on the prompts from the persona first, and you will be able to build a lot of your strategy. The reason I showed you education marketing is because obviously with every speaker comes their quirks and favorite tools or journeys. Education marketing, in my opinion, is a journey which I believe every company should be utilizing. You have to educate your customer, you have to give them information, you have to find their insights and solve the problems for them before you ask them to buy your products. And all that we do in our company is around that. What I want to talk about with the world is the power of education marketing, because it's a win-win. When you do that, you make the world a better place with the solutions that you give out there. You're not just trying to sell something because you just have a solution that will be out there and make money, but you want to solve a large problem for your customer and you want to be out there talking about it. Yeah, so that's it from my side. I think we'll take a quick
short 10 minutes break.
Yeah,
and then we'll be back.
10 minutes and we'll be